concerned with economic matters, particularly from the international point of view. So these subjects are of only passing interest to me. But I consider this movement all along to be a romantic movement. That is, a movement which, if all this were happening on the moon, one could perhaps speak about seriously. I think that for the first time in the history of the modern Polish nation, the people carried through a revolt, which they won, and offered its fruits to the entire nation. And so it was, undoubtedly the ennoblement of a class held in contempt by history.
You know, the revolutions in the West were done by crowds who are used. Bourgeois, you know, French Revolution, Russian Revolution in 1970. It was, you know, elite using crowds, manipulating crowds. And here we had real, you know, mass movement situation when it was the strong emotional involvement and real change in way of thinking. And it was more type of a culture revolution with, you know, this jump in perception. And of course, it is maybe more important than political revolution, because these things are more lasting. Simple people are without chance to get power in their hands. After Solidarity, I'm yet more pessimistic about it, because even Solidarity had immediately this hierarchy and new elite and so on. But these changes in mentality are lasting.
Wzywamy was, wszyscy polegli w grudniu. Wzywam Brunona Drywę.
It is said of the Poles that every generation carries with it the memory of an insurrection crushed. But this is not just a history of defeats. It is also a history of fighting forward against all odds. Candles burn for the dead of 1970 and for the dead of the Warsaw Uprising, just as candles still burn for those who fell in the uprisings of 1830 and 1863. Today, candles burn too for the workers who died when Solidarity was suppressed in December 1981. Their light means grief, but also hope.
Wzywamy wszystkich poległych, których nazwiska są nieznane, lecz ich ofiara nie pozostała daremna. Wzywamy was do apelu.
Solidarity was recognized and tolerated by the Polish government for 15 months. In that time, almost 10 million people joined the Union. 10 million. The entire population of Poland, men, women, and children included, is only 36 million. The 10 million members of Solidarity represented most of the households in the country and constituted about half of Poland's workforce. Even a third of the Communist Party's members joined Solidarity. This was no ordinary labor movement. It was a popular outcry, an overwhelming vote of no confidence in the entire process of Polish government. But it was also a movement filled with hope. The people of Poland rose up believing that if only their rulers would listen, together they could solve Poland's problems. The government thought otherwise. The authorities in Poland and in Moscow were threatened. In December of 1981, they sent soldiers into the streets. But soldiers do not cure a sick economy, and soldiers cannot restore public confidence in a failing government. In the late 1980s, Poland's economic crisis remains much as it was when Solidarity was suppressed. Poland is a dramatic illustration of the problems which Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union face today. The economic and political systems conceived and built under Stalin's guidance are still beleaguered. Poland is the largest and in many respects the most independent of the Soviet Union satellites. What freedoms the Poles have were given by the Soviet Union to keep them from rebelling. So after 100 years, what has happened to Poland? She has always wanted to escape from the trap between East and West. In fact, she has tried repeatedly to identify with the West, but her geographic position has left her caught. True, she has gained a measure of independence. True, she is united ethnically and religiously. True, she is no longer threatened by Germany. But her struggle for real independence, which continues, remains thwarted by her old enemy on the East, the Soviet Union.
Major funding for this program has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Additional funding has been provided by the Alfred Yerzykovsky Foundation, the J.S. Johnson and Barbara P. Johnson Fund in the New York Community Trust, the Polish-American Congress, the Joyce Foundation, and the Friends of the Struggles for Poland. A complete donor list is available from WNET. The companion book to The Struggles for Poland, written by journalist Neil Asherson, takes you further inside the least intimidated society within the Soviet bloc. Published by Random House, it is available in bookstores and libraries. You may order any one or all 9 episodes of The Struggles for Poland. The series chronicles the wars and reconstruction of a nation once again at a pivotal point in relations between East and West. Each home video cassette is $29.95 or $99.95 for the entire series. For credit card orders, please call 1-800-451-7020.